Welcome everyone to another session, Data with Nikk the Greek. I did expect to make another part from this series, Spark Basics Simply Explained, but then I realized, wait, Spark 3.51 has been released last week, and we only did an introductory video in part 3 where we installed 3.50. And 3.51 is basically only a maintenance release, so there have been some security and bug fixes in there. So nothing really exciting, which is like incredibly new in Spark. But still, I think it's a good idea to take 3.51 as an example if you want to update from a previous version. So if you haven't seen my video in part 3 where we explain how to install Spark properly from scratch, you're gonna find the link above here in the screen or in the description below. Today we're gonna target just if you have already a Spark installation available to see in a few steps how to easily update it. So let's get started. All right, first what I love to do is when I install a new Spark installation to just install the recent Java version, Java V8 in this case, just to stay up to date with the recent release. So we are clicking here on the link and use the adopted version of it, and then we choose our operating system. So here it's in German, unfortunately, but I think you're gonna see it in English in your case. So we have the x64, we want the JDK, and we want 8, and then download the MSI. This is gonna take a few seconds. Save as. Let's save it under my Spark downloads folder. So there we go. And then we open the file for the installation. So click on next. Sorry that it's in German in this case, I don't know why, but okay, in this case I'm lucky I already have the Spark installation, but still we're gonna proceed just to show you how in case you're gonna do it, have to proceed. So we installed Java, and now the second thing is we have to update the system variable. So we're gonna go here and search for environmental variables. There it is already. And then we go to environmental variables and look for our Java home system variable. So now we have to find the link. So we go here to our C drive. So where's our C drive? There we go. So to computer, C, program files, and then adaptieren, there, and then we just copy exactly this link, exactly there where the binary file is in there. And we copy it in here. So in this case, as I recently just updated Java, it's exactly the same. All right, now we come to the most important part. So we want to install the new Spark version, and therefore we click on the link, and now you see that we have 3.51. So we're also gonna check the Hadoop version. So 3.5 and 3.51 in this case have the same Hadoop version. If you had a previous version which had a lower Hadoop version, 3.2 for instance, you should check my video below where I explain also how the Hadoop version has to be updated. So in this case, we just click here on the TZ file, download it. Let's see where it is. There we go, save as in our Spark downloads folder. All right, now it's downloaded. Let's open it. Here it is. So we just go extract all, and we are targeting our Spark folder, which is data Spark. So let's do select folder and extract it in there. So there's no worries if another Spark version is already there. So a little bit more. And now we have in the same folder also the new Spark version. So now you guessed it as well, we have to adjust the environmental variables. So we're going to go to our control panel again, environmental variables, and this time we're going to look for Spark Home. And you already guessed it, just this change. So we update the Spark version to 3.51. And that's pretty much it. All right, now let's test if installation Spark did work correctly. And therefore, we're gonna go to a command line and run those different steps which are described here. So first of all, we're gonna run PySpark and check which version we have and if PySpark command line is actually working. So let's wait a second. So Spark 3.51 seems to work correctly in this case. And also the Spark UI seems to work. Let's give it a try with those commands which we have here. So we have Spark data frame, which we create with Spark.range 10. So this data frame with one column ID has only 10 rows. And then we just do an action like a count, for instance, just to see if this is also working. So sdf.count. There we go. A stage is created and the count is working. So also this step was successful. That means Spark we first of all installed correctly. All right, now we also have to update our PySpark installation in pip for Python. And that's as easy as you know as for all the packages. We're just gonna go now again to your CMD. And then we first of all activate our Python environment with or Conda environment to be specific, which we created in the previous video. So Conda activate. In my case, I called it PySpark. There we go. It shows there in the brackets that it's my PySpark environment, which is activated. And then we do pip install PySpark 3.51. And I personally always recommend you to use a specific version. If you run just PySpark, it of course usually takes a recent version, but sometimes you also don't want it. So let's do pip install PySpark 3.51, and then it should be updated. All right, we installed successfully PySpark 3.51. And of course, it also found the previous installation PySpark 3.50, which of course it replaced. Okay, let's now do our final testing VS Code and see if we installed Spark correctly. So I prepared again a test script, which is downloadable from my Git repository. So you can just follow the link below based on the presentation, which I'm gonna upload in my video. I'm gonna link in the description below. So let's jump to VS Code. Most importantly, what we have to do again is using our Conda environment, where we installed the recent PySpark version. So in my case, the Conda environment is called PySpark, and then we can run our imports. So just to remind you what this means again. So basically, I just like to assign automatically the PySpark Python version, the Python version for the driver to the current Python version of my Python environment which I'm using. So otherwise you would have manually to change it in your environment variables, and this just makes the life easier. Then I create my Spark session. I recently started playing around with Arrow files, so I'm also checking if this Maven installation is installed correctly and working correctly, of course. So let's create our Spark session. And then once the Spark session is ready, let's also create a dummy data frame and check if it's showing up. All right, then let's write the file to check also that Hadoop is still working properly. Let's load the file again. Now let's see if our Parquet analyzer is working. There I have unfortunately bad news. I think based on what I found out, first of all, I thought the Java version was the issue, but I didn't install a new version, so I think it's related to Spark 3.51 that this Maven package just not supports Spark 3.51. I do some more evaluation, but right now I couldn't figure out why one of my favorite packages is not working, so most probably I'm gonna downgrade again to Spark 3.50 to use this package for some of my next videos where I want to also deep dive a little bit more into Parquet. But as it's more like an optional package, let's ignore it for now. And then last but not least, let's also see that the Avro saving and reading is working. And with that, we updated now Spark to the latest version, 3.51. And it's, let's say, 95% working respect of this one package. And with this, thanks a lot again for another session, Data with Nikk the Greek. If you like the video, comment below, like it, and of course you're gonna find below right a red button where you can also subscribe my channel to stay tuned for the next episode coming in. And with this, goodbye.